All right, thank you so much. Um, I don't know if anybody would just like to say hi to us. Just say hi, tell us where you're connecting from. So you can just unmute and speak.
Hi, good evening.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. My name is I based in Onitsha. Yeah. So just joined this meeting for the first time.
Wow, you're so welcome. We're so glad to have you. Welcome. Any other person? Let's say just
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Any other person, maybe like one or two other persons, please. You can just say hi to us. All right. So, in absence of that, actually, let me just do a brief introduction. Right. This is literally this is startup grind, like you've seen, and what we do in startup grind is try to foster and encourage and improve entrepreneurship, right? Especially like despite this is an Owerri chapter, it's literally very open to everyone, right? And I'm so glad that we are getting to have or we're seeing people from Oka, right? Anambra. Very beautiful situation. So you're so welcome. Really glad I have you here. And I'm King Henry Ize by name, the the state director for its startup grind, and we're going to be having a lot of these things at least monthly or at least 6 to 7 times a month. We'll have a couple events. So today is actually a very really sorry about that, David. But can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Please, you can just give me an emoji to let
Yes, we can hear you.
okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm the director of Startup Grand Owerri, and you're so welcome. We're so glad to have you with us. We're having a very special person and a friend of mine. Um, is no other person than Jeremiah Olisa, and he's the founder of Codefactory Innovation Hub here in the city of Owerri. This is a hub that is literally doing massive things, changing the landscape of the tech ecosystems. You need to see his goals, his agenda of everything he aims to achieve, right? So, Mr. Jeremiah Olisa, welcome once more. I don't know if you can just unmute and say hi to us. Mr. Jeremiah, can you hear me?
Um, yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Uh, very well. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I don't know if you wouldn't mind, you can still show us your handsome face again so that we can get to see those someone who are hosting. And for our guests, you can still also, show your video. We can just show our faces, right? Okay. So while our guest is, getting us to see his face, setting up his camera, we will just get right into it. This is actually a fireside chat. When we say fireside chat, yeah, Maxwell, I see you. Thank you. When we say fireside chat, we're talking, getting to host conversation with founders. That's literally what startup grind is into. So just in case, I'm seeing a lot of new persons here. We have a WhatsApp group, right? And I hope I get to see you all in this WhatsApp group. You guys get to even participate in future events and stuff. So we'll be listening. We'll be having a conversation with Jeremiah. After which, if you have questions, you can also ask him. is going to be, inspiring us on his journey and how he, came thus far, right? So first question for you, Mr. Jeremiah. Thank you for showing us your face once more. Can you tell us briefly about yourself and your background, and yes, especially before you founded Code Factory Hub? If you're speaking, your mic is muted actually. So sorry.
Oh, sorry about that. So I was saying the amazing thing about Code Factory is that even before I started working um, officially in at any place, the idea for Code Factory has been there. So amazingly, a friend of mine, we're having a conversation like few weeks ago or months. Can't really remember the time frame, but like he just pointed out how this idea has been existing since I was in secondary school, right? Um, so my background, I have, let's say I have a background because I really did not learn all these things in inside the classroom. So I've worked in different capacities as a technical lead, a back-end engineer, um, someone. Okay, so I was saying, so I've worked in different capacities as a full stack engineer, back end, and also a technical lead, where I've had to um, lead some people in developing technology technological infrastructure. So over the year, the code factory idea has been redefined. I always wanted to give back through the means I the same way I was better, the same way Jeremiah Olisa that I see now was better, and it's through something like this, through something like Code Factory. So yeah.
Interesting, interesting. That's really inspiring. He said you've been into this space for a long while, and it shows that you kind of like has this little background. You've been into the tech space for a long while, right? And you felt that you want to
Yeah,
give back, you want to get to inspire others, get to train people and raise, another kind just like yourself. So that's so beautiful. Thank you
yes.
so much. Thank you so much. So the second question I would have for you is like what inspired you to start Code Factory Innovation Hub? I know you've stated, you've mentioned wanting to give back. If you could go into a little more detail. The first question was about your background, right? But now we want to know what inspired you to start Code Factory Innovation Hub. Like, what was your initial vision behind it?
So the initial vision was just to train people. So it's the amazing thing that the vision has morphed into, let's say, supply chain of talent. So even like I said, the name Code Factory, I was telling some people or some persons a few weeks ago that the name Code Factory might not um, contain the the vision anymore. So the vision is beyond writing codes, right? So what gave birth to it? Like I said earlier, I was part of some
Uh,
front end, but there was still something there. We could still do more. Um, I just wanted to do more and replicate myself because I've seen and I've been in interview boards where you see amazing people, right? and these guys are good. They understand programming, understand their technical skills, but they lack something. They lack the missing ingredients. And some of these things is what they don't teach outside. They don't teach you integrity, communication, patience, and all those things. So I said, why can't I just bring, and some of the things I also learned in church, um, in a way that kind of gave birth to Jeremiah the Predator. So I was like, okay, we can bring these various aspects. We can bring the technical aspects, teach them a code factory, and also, uh, sorry, and also the parts that people try to ignore, cultural skills, teamwork, and all the rest.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Thank you so much. Uh, so you said you initially started wanting to teach people to code, but you feel the name is actually limiting the idea now. So possibly, but yeah, that's just a petty milestone that will be achieved. So now, thank you so much um, for that. I think we can just go to the next question. Actually wanting to do something as like a hub or even teach people how to code is not really something you just surely there are tons of challenges, lots of milestones you must have achieved, the rigorous processes and stress and all of that stuff. I don't know if you could get to throw more light and inspire us in that regards too. So I want to know, like, share with us some of the key milestones and achievements of Code Factory Hub since its inception. Did
Okay,
you?
sorry, I was muted. So
Uh,
yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. So key milestone. So um, one of one of the biggest things we have accomplished right now is getting a physical space, and access to funding to do all these things. So um, funding is actually a big thing, and would I say I've gone almost round sharing the vision with people. In fact, we almost established what we have now in Korea, but there was so many limitations. Let's say limitations, but it was not just the right environment for us. So, um, one of the biggest milestones we have accomplished, like I said, setting up an infrastructure. Secondly, is setting up a network of professionals that can easily get or employ our students when they are fully trained. So, some of these works or activities happen in the background. They did not just start from like this year. It was a journey, right? From meeting various people in Akure, teaching me some things, um, marketing, networking, and all those VC jargon. So the infrastructure and the network and connection have been um, the biggest, well, I say, achievement. I can categorically say right now that whatever you want to build or whoever you want to meet in the tech industry right now, I kind of know somebody who knows somebody, um, and we can get access. So access, network, and a community of like minds.
hmm, hmm. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I of course I know infrastructure, despite how easy it may sound, is not really something that is like that easy
Yeah,
to achieve, right? We're talking about a space. Imagine how much rent would cost. You're talking about, and we don't really have that steady power in this part of the world, so you have to invest in power alternate power. So we're talking about generators, possibly even solar. You're talking about internet. All of these things would really, really require a lot of funding, and achieving that is really, a great milestone. So big congratulations once more. And I'm more even keen on, the network aspect, right? And I'm so glad. And I hope you get to connect us with some of these networks, once in a while, right? Because this is actually one of the
Yeah,
focus.
yeah, yeah. So Code Factory itself is beyond. Um, like I said, the name can encompass what we want to start doing now. And let me just release an insider secret. So I wrote this down. I thought whether it's this year or late last year. So the plan for Code Factory is in three phases. We're in phase one, but one of the phases is to bring. And I know I've told you about this personally, King Henry. Is to bring investors from around um, to come and check our students. So I know for a fact that we have bright people in Owerri, yeah. So
Yeah.
who can build amazing solutions, put them in an incubation hub. We already have the infrastructure to give them 24 hours light and unlimited internet supply. So we have this infrastructure, but what we don't have now on ground is that VC funding. So, but we have the connection and the network to make that happen. So, again, Code Factory, we're beyond code now. We are beyond code. Will I say, we're a talent pipeline now. So, yeah.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. So, and I'm really very excited, really, really, especially as regards that network. And surely together, we are going to be seeing some drastic improvements in the, not just the tech ecosystem, but also startup ecosystem of, the state of Imo, right?
Yeah.
So that's so beautiful. And even what you actually even mentioned, right? It would actually lead to my next question, right? You spoke about VC funding, you spoke about a couple other things. I wanted to also ask about the kind of support and resources that Code Factory would provide, for startups and entrepreneurs, especially in the city of Owerri.
So I can't say, um, give a definite answer for that, but I have a huge passion for startups. I like seeing things come into life. So, God helping us, within 2 years, we are hoping to expand to a bigger infrastructure that can accommodate um, 10s, 20s people. So, maybe for instance, we host an hackathon and few teams qualify to the final stage. We can give them access to our resource connection, our infrastructure. Like, it's amazing that I can't say for a fact, and correct me if there's any infrastructure like this in a way, with 24 hours light, green energy, um, also unlimited internet, and just a cool environment. I would have shown you already, but so this we just want. In fact, I had to be slowed down. My advisors were like, Jerry, slow down. There's time for everything. Let's just start small for now. Let's train. We're in the planting period or planting phase of Code Factory. By the time it comes to the harvesting phase, we will start seeing how we can support startups in the way.
Hmm. All right. So, yeah, thank you so much. I think you've even actually, made mention of a couple stuff. So you have a hub, okay, an innovation hub at that. So most times, startup and young entrepreneurs need spaces like that, to get to incubate ideas, share minds, have some, physical interactions and all of that. So if you can get to do that, for the startup ecosystem, I think you've really done a great, help. And also, of course, getting to introduce them to your VCs and all of that stuff, which most likely she can come in later. So well done, sir. Well done, sir. So yeah, thank you so much. And even from that, I think we can, in the next question we actually have, for it will be, especially as regards like, I don't know if you can just get to tell us about like the biggest challenges you faced, like in your experience though. What do you think are like the biggest challenges that startups are facing in this part of the world? That startups are facing in the tech industry in this part of the world. What are those biggest challenges you would say in your
For
experience?
I'm tempted to say funding, yeah, but we all know fund is we all know that, but from experience, what I've seen is lack of human resources and a good foundational infrastructure. Um, you see scenarios where some of your employees don't have access to internet or even access to constant light. So I've kind of been I've been privileged enough to I've installed solar in my previous apartment, and I can say for a fact that I can literally just wake up anytime and walk, like wake up 4 a.m., walk to the next morning. So as little as those things are, constant electricity and all those things, and I know to a great fact that that is not their fault, but all those things compound into a less productive environment. Then I also said lack of capable human resources, or yes, and human skills. So that has been my driving force at, or rather, that has been our driving force at Code Factory, because I sit down. In fact, I don't know if you saw my status this morning. I just sat down this morning because I was trying to get a job for someone. I'm like, and every job I was given to her, she was like, I don't have these qualifications. I'm like, nah, man, you employ someone, a graduate or undergraduate, and as little as some skills are using Excel, using Microsoft Word, and they can't use it. Let's not even talk about the fact that some people are not reliable, they set deadlines, and all those things compound to failure of startups. I've seen startups fail because they had managerial issue. Some fail because of communication and minor things like that. That when you look from an outside perspective, like this shouldn't be so. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much. So you made mention of funding. Um, I think everything somewhat even boils down to that funding. You still made mention of some amenities like power, stable internet. Because truly, it's in this part of the world where we are. That's why you see us, we're like a military force, very rugged, right? Because we literally have to put a good fight for a lot of things, right? You have to ensure you have power despite we don't really have that steady power. You have to ensure you have as a steady internet, So you're very, very correct. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And how do you think some of these challenges can be ameliorated? Do you have any ideas for, young entrepreneurs or people in the startup?
challenges. So for example, I made mention of the human resource challenge. So To an extent, the power and internet is beyond our control.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so specific about this human resource, creating the best force. So I always tell my people, especially the back end people, that I'm not training employees, I'm training soldiers.
Mm.
And I know, Gary, you know what I'm talking about in the ministry.
Yeah.
So
Truly.
we, we are trained in that way. So diligence, even the Bible says that whosoever is diligent in his work shall stand before kings and not men. I have when there's diligence, I think diligence is even the key, right? So when you're diligent enough to say or pinpoint your weaknesses and say, oh boy, I have to work on this. Diligence and discipline. So it takes a great number of discipline for you to say, I have to wake up by 2 a.m. so that I can finish this thing. Else, I might get fired. Not just even getting fired. The discipline to always be more, to be better. I think, sorry, let me confirm something. So there's this Japanese philosophy that I like very much. And if there are anime fans here, they can relate. And that philosophy is Kaizen. It means to be 1% better than I was um, before. So if 1% looks like a small number, right? So if I say for every week of the year, I want to be 1% better. So you see at the end of the year that I'm 50% above what I was the last year. And you
Yesterday.
see in 2 years, I'd have gone in 2x. So
Yeah.
you need to pinpoint that you need to grow. So that Kaizen mentality a lot. So it's more than discipline, it's also diligence. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so so much. So surely some of those, those things are the things we have to control what is in our power and try to manage what we cannot control, right? And it's
Yeah.
mainly about the human resources, trying to ensure that we are the best version, we have the best quality of whatever service we want to render. So I totally agree with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you know, there are actually a lot of innovation hubs are going out there. Even currently, there is this very big emphasis on technological expansion globally, and especially in this part of the world here in Africa, Nigeria, and Owerri, right? We have like the Skill Up Imo project, and just recently the 3MTT project, wanting to, like the biggest accelerator program, wanting to go out for about 3 million, right? Training 3 million technical talents. And you get to see a lot of persons, just jumping into a lot of stuffs and all of that, right? Which is actually cool and beautiful, right? So I don't know if
Yeah.
you can. I would like us to like talk about the trends. We are actually in a state, right? This current scenario where technological trends, technology is like the next, is like the biggest trend for the now, like for the moment, like right now. And there are, and of course technology is very very broad, right? We have people that loves data, we have artificial intelligence is doing a lot of crazy stuffs out here. You even made mention of using solar, yeah, lots of stuff. So I would love to ask, what emerging technologies do you believe will have the most significant impact for startups in the next few years?
Mm. I'm tempted to say AI because I know how much easy my workload has become easier just by using AI. So it's so amazing that I don't like premium um, subscriptions, but I'm even tempted to use the premium version of ChatGPT and so on. So even beyond my workspace, even at home. So there was a time that I needed to cook a meal and I did not know how to do that. I just asked this AI how to do it. So with AI, you can really cut down your workload into bits. I know we all have that fear that AI is coming for our jobs, but me, I'm like, man, this guy is coming to make my work easier. And and there's a line I picked up from a song, um, and I think that line says, "Apparently, I am the secret recipe." So I believe that whatever you want to employ me, AI can do that. But yeah, the, what defines me is I'm the secret recipe. Once you take me out of that scenario, then you just have an ordinary working station. So that's where I kind of diverging a bit. That's where intelligence comes in again. AI, then we also have analytics. I'm becoming more of a data person day by day. The more as I'm building a startup, I'm becoming more of a data person. I am going into trend. So it's just beyond data. It goes far into history. So I think that time in secondary school, my history teacher would always say, um, to avoid something, you need to check your history. So you see now that some of the things that is happening right now, Fela and those guys they talk about it. And I still look at the fact that, oh, why is this thing happening? Because we don't look at the trends. They say follow the trends, but we are not checking the trends. So um, I like to believe that data should rule your every action. And somehow, as a Christian, I'm trying to remove that culture from me because I'm always big on data. So data and I think, will rule the next industry or the next century of work.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. That's very true because even AI cannot work without data. AI really needs large, data sets and models to be able to work. Right. Thank you so much for your insight. So that would will bring this now to Code Factory, right? How is Code Factory positioning itself for this next big thing, like you've even just talked about now? And how do you also think Code Factory is staying ahead of the curve, you know, in terms of this technological positioning and technological advancements, as opposed to other innovation hubs that may be around?
So, so come again. I want to get that question well.
Yeah, based off this, these next technological advancements you've made mention of, right? How is Code Factory positioning itself ahead and placing itself ahead of the curve?
Okay, so already I like, well, I have a philosophy that move slow but quick. To an extent, that's an irony, right? Because slow and quick are opposites. So when mean that, I want to really know what's going on. Not like really know what's going on. So a few years ago was the blockchain trend, and don't get me wrong, blockchain is still very much um, significant in this age, but as compared to what was existing during the COVID period, 2020, to an extent 2022, that old boy. So, um, assuming I had taught some people on blockchain, or rather personally, assuming I had learned blockchain, to an extent, I would have just fallen off the road, or just gone back to my normal um, Web 2 play. So, right now, is the world we are in ready for? Is the world we are in, which is Nigeria, are we really ready for AI? That's the question. So I personally don't think Nigeria as a country is ready for AI. But in terms of data analysis, I think very soon we'll be taking those courses. We can't outstretch ourselves. So in the next future, when we move to a bigger infrastructure, we'll have plans on teaching those courses, um, data analysis, IoT, and um, probably AI.
All right, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your insights. So, I think there's actually going to be like a very massive jump in the AI space, especially here in Nigeria. Like we are very, very rugged. We do a lot of things like against the odds, and I've been seeing a couple stuff from the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. There's lots of AI stuff that has been cooking on the background. Um, yeah, and if that's trend and this thing can keep at this pace, surely in the next few years there'll be really, really massive improvements, right? So yeah, thank you so much for your insights. I think we can just this is actually startup grind. In as much as we may have lots of things about teaching and training. I think it would always be very, very important we niche down into you know um, um, startups, all these solutions that we're building. How do we make our trainees, how do we make our mentees pick a startup out of it, right? And how do we bring them into a community, right? So I've even started even answering the question. I wanted to even ask you about community building, right? Well, I think I've actually even started mentioning that community building is actually very, very important, right? Bring these people into a community like we have here now, Startup Grind, where in certain events like this and sessions like this, they get to be inspired and be even mentored, get access to networks they may not really have had access to on their own, and come together, share ideas, and lots of innovations keep flowing everywhere, right? So yeah, thank you so much. Just the last few questions for you. I wanted to ask like what are the future plans? Like what are your future plans for Codefactory Innovation Hub?
Um, the future plans right now, future plan is to make sure keep out our talents and the people who are training out to reputable organizations and keep on recycling that till we can get we can get investors here and we can make Imo a center of attraction, not just Imo, the East in general, a center of attraction for foreign interest.
Mm, interesting. I really, really love that. Yeah, thank you so much for such beautiful insight, right? And I was even about to also even ask in that regard, and I'll just go ahead and ask that question like, how do you see the tech startup ecosystem evolving in Owerri in the coming years and in Nigeria?
I think when I told my friends that um, I was moving from Akure to Owerri, so I was always shuffling Lagos Akure, but Akure was my base because it was just so quiet for me. When I told them I was moving to Owerri, they were like, no. Then something just dropped in me. I'm like, and told me to study the story of Caleb. And if I'm correct, so they sent spies to check out a foreign land. Everybody but Caleb and Joshua, um, everybody else brought bad news, brought bad reputation. But Caleb and Joshua saw good in the land. So their We met last year, um, and that's before I even moved to Owerri itself. We met in Lagos, then we met in Owerri again. So, and I was able to see that. I don't know whether it's from my own point of view, but I was able to see in that seminar where we met that Owerri has a lot of untapped potential. We're just waiting for somebody. No, we're waiting. We are already here. Codefactory is already here to just come and take the spoil of the land.
Mm,
There are a lot, a lot. I see teenagers every day, and I'm like, yo, you guys can do better.
mm.
We are here
Very,
to
very correct.
get those untapped resources, and you know, um, I was I was talking with one of our founders, and we're like Jerry, we have to move into another state very soon. And in my mind, I was like, yo, are you reading my mind? So we have like-minded people trying to make sure that the East in general, we have been, I don't mean to be a tribalist, but we have been deprived lots of things. It is now time that we get back to our thinking board and say, oh, we have a lot of spoils in this land that is untapped. Just not only physical resources, but the mental resources to move Nigeria forward.
You're very, 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 very correct. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. And with that, I think we'll actually call it a wrap. That was really, really inspiring. Because truly, truly, we in this part of the world and Nigeria at large, we have, tend to just take the backside of things, not try to pressure ourselves or impose ourselves on certain things. Well, the tides are changing. We're taking over. Yeah, thank you so much. So I don't know if you have, any final message for the audience, and also if the audience has any questions for you. If you have any question, you can just raise your hand while we wrap this session up. Okay, so I don't know if you have any final message, so we can just call it wrap.
Final message is do not succumb to societal pressure. People will call it failure, people will call it different things. But there's this song by Sinach, I know who I am. Don't allow anybody to steal that identity from you. Know who you are. Um, Break the norm. I like moving in unconventional ways. I don't like making noise. I just like doing my thing at the back. And so even when nobody really expected me to just come out of the blues one day, because I like my pastor will always say when there's separation there's revival, right? So nobody expected me to, or expected us to just come out from one place and say, oh, this is what we're doing. It and when I speak to some of my friends, they are like, who is this guy again? Who is this one? Who is this small boy looking at? Who is trying to conquer the world? They tried to do it for David, but David knew who he was. He had done his practice in separation. He had fought lions and bears. Nobody was there when he was conquering those challenges. So again, when they wanted to fight, or he wanted to fight Goliath, many would have said, "Oh, you're just a small boy, you're just nothing." So no, don't let anybody define you. You only define you, and the Bible defines who you are. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. I totally agree with you. That was really, really inspiring. That was really, really inspiring. Don't succumb to the norm. Don't be moved by pressure, especially, it almost seems as though, especially in this part of the world where the current trend is fraud. don't do that. And I'm thank you so much for really that's really inspiring. Thank you so much for your time. It was really a pleasure getting to have you. Yes, thank you so much, Ezebo. David, you've been really active. Thank you so much. So yeah, in the chat, I put a URL to the community. So just click on the startupground.com/Owerri. Just go into the URL and register so that whenever we're having events like this, you'll be the first to get notified. And Jeremiah, also please, these new guys that joined in, help add them to the group, or I'll share you the link so that they can join the group. So thank you so much for your time, guys. Do have a beautiful time, and it's a bye from me.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity anyway.
Bye.